So in this video, I'm going to show you what interference RFI or EMI looks like. So you can see here, the number one thing is all of these overlapping traces. See, look at this. Goes up. And this is my RPM signal. This is my RPM with my AFR. So if we just take my RPM, you can see how it's all over the place and it's zigzag and it's crossing each other. That is one way to tell if you have EMI or RFI going on with your electronic fuel injection setup. Another way to tell is that you have these negative numbers. So unless this is so in a standard format, these negative numbers here also indicate that you have EMI, RFI going on in your car. So this is a prime example, and if we bring up, a TPS sensor, I mean, you can see it's way up here. And then if we bring in my AFR, you can see now these traces are all over the place again. I mean, if I zoom in on that, I mean, that's not what you want. What we want to have is something. See, and here's another case. If you open it up and you go, wow, okay, that is some EMI going on. So let me see if I can find another decent one that has no RFI. So let me close a few of these windows up here, the throttle position sensor and the AFR. So this is a data log that has no RFI or EMI interference going on whatsoever. So you can see how everything is clean. There's no traces that go back and forth. It starts at 0, which is what we want. We don't want it to start it with a negative number. We can bring in all our other parameters, and we can also see, everything is good there. So compare this one with something like this, and let me bring this one in. I mean, you can see the difference, right? So I mean, this one is completely overlapping. Traces are going all over the place, and on this one everything is very clean and there's no overlapping. So that's one way. And a very common source of this is the pink 12-volt wire for the Holley Sniper. If that's not hooked up to a clean source, such as the ignition switch, directly to the ignition switch, you could get something that looks like this. If you hook it up to an ignition coil, or your HEI wire, this is exactly what you could get, something just like this. And another awesome feature about this data logging is I'm going to show you right here. So the activate overlay button is something that you should do so that you can actually play back your data log, your drive in real time. So if I go over to my fuel tab and I go to my fuel, base fuel would be fine, or you could go to target AFR or your learn table, but we'll stick with the base fuel. Okay, so I have my my overlay activated. So there's a checkbox there to have it activated. Now I come back here and I open up my data log, right? And I'm going to click on the point. Let's see here. So we'll go to data log and let's open a data log. And it just happened because I had too many opened up. So now you can see these green lines. This green line corresponds directly with my data log. So if I put my cursor here, you can now see that I'm going about 2,000 RPMs, and my vacuum map KPA is about 58. Okay. Now what I could do also is I could actually look at this right here, my AFR. So I'm actually a little bit lean right there at that point. I'm sorry, fat. I'm a little bit fat at that point, a little bit rich. So I could actually even come over to my target air fuel ratio table, and I can come over here and I can raise that up. You see how that works? So let me open up a better data log that has no EMI going on here. So these are pretty clean ones right here from a client, but you can also see that there's very lean. So if I just and what you can also do now again, so this actually tracked my whole run in real time, and I can just move my cursor, and it tells me exactly what's happening to it. So I could come over here to this where we got up to about 5,600 RPM with the TPS at about 66%. So it was kind of just like eased into it. So I could actually click on this right here. Just click on it. Then what I like to do is I like to use the left and right cursor. So if I click once on my the right arrow on my keyboard, now it pops over. Now I can see I'm at 14.1, going at about 900. So it looks like I'm about idle. Now off here, I just get off idle, 1500, 7%, AFR 12.8, still a little bit rich, I suppose. And you can I keep doing my right cursor, and I can see exactly where I am in terms of map and engine RPM, and you can see my yellow orange circle moving over here. Okay, and we just keep going along. So now we're just steadily increasing the gas, 14, 15, and now at this point we floor it, almost floor it, because I can see my TPS is at 71%. So I'm almost floored. We're not yet at wide open throttle because the sniper sees it at wide open throttle about 85% and above. Okay, so now I'm off coast, I'm coasting, and we can see now, if you can see my AFR over here is 12.6 as I'm coming down, and now it shoots to 9.6. So it's very, very rich, very fat in these areas, this green line right here. And I'm going to continue on, and so 9.6, 10. You can see my AFR is at 10, and I'm right here in this cell, right? So you can, now I'm just moving my cursor right to see what happens in these cells. Not my cursor, my arrow key on my keyboard. And I'm still very rich in this area. Very, very rich. 12. And I don't really want to be at 12. I want to be 13, 13.5, somewhere around there. So what you could do is you can do a couple things. I could actually highlight. I could highlight these, so I'll just left click and hold it. And now what I could do is I could actually type in, let's try, 13.6, and then hit enter. Now all of my cells in this area went up to about 13.6, obviously. So now the next time I come down off coast, we should be a little bit not so lean in this area, because I want to raise up. I want to give it a little bit less fuel, because I was at 13.1. Another way you could go about this also is you could actually come over here to the base fuel table. Okay, and so again, I know that I'm in these cells, right? So I could actually decrease my fuel because this is too much. And what you could do here is you could just simply do Control and then the left arrow key to reduce it by about 5%. Control left arrow is 5%. Control down is 1%. So, and as you can see, I'm very, very rich in this in this area right here. So by reducing it by 5% should be a good start, and then we see what happens. So that's that's one way to tune it. Again, you can also come back to the target air fuel ratio, and you can just tune it by this way also. then then the computer will make the adjustments to get the AFR up. So that's